Hello, everybody. I'm really sorry for the 3-minute delay. At the last moment, the browser, this is the first time for me, so it seems Safari doesn't support the online live streaming. So I had to then go back to Chrome and log in, and there were some issues logging in. Anyways, I'm really sorry for the delay, um, but I'm happy that we only had a delay of 3 minutes. I was expecting a longer delay. This is the first time. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Yuki. Thank you, Ritu. And thank you, trainers. Uh, thank you, Barry. Thank you so much. So this session is all about, this will be 1 hour. And because I started a bit late, so I'm going to keep it open till 10:05. But given only 4 to 5 people in the chat, I think that will be more than enough. But if more people join in, of course, we're gonna. Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, if you can see me, please write in the comments so that I can know that I'm on the right path. Because I know nothing. This is a wonderland for me. I have no idea what's going on. I'm just too happy that I'm doing it. So any questions, you can ask me any questions. It doesn't have to be related to only science. It can be anything. I'll be very happy about answering any questions. Thank you. Thank you. English Chacha says, yes, you are audible and visible. Please carry on. Thank you. Thank you for your encouragement. Any questions, guys? Any questions at all? If you have, you can type it, and uh, that's the way it works. So you will type in the questions. Sorry for this. I want you to ask me directly, but we don't have that for now. So you'll be asking the questions uh, by writing them, and if uh, I hope I'll be able to answer them. So any questions, please? Science, history, geography, anything. English Chacha says, a question for my 8 years old daughter, how this universe was created. Oh, that's a very good question. And what's your favorite food? Barry says, well, my favorite food is anything that's affordable, and it doesn't take a lot of time. I'm not a foodie. I'm not much of a foodie. So anything that's affordable, um, rice. I like rice. I like roti, the Indian flatbread. I like yogurt, those kind of things. Thank you for your questions, Barry. Yes, about the 8-year-old uh, daughter who says how this universe was created. We have a basic idea. So what happens is, let me tell you a story. So now I'm answering the questions from English Chacha. Those who have just joined in, just to loop you in, the question is, how was the universe created? So what happened is, sorry, in the 1930s, I think, there was a guy called Hubble, and he started looking at the sky. And before that, all of us, everybody, all the scientists, including the greatest of them, Einstein, believed that the universe is static. But turns out that when Hubble was looking at his telescope, he notices a redshift. So in simple language, a redshift means that the stars that we see in the night sky, they're not fixed. They're actually going away from us. Okay, and it took him about 4 to 5 years to convince the rest of the science fraternity to agree that our universe is expanding. And very unfortunately, he wasn't able to get the Nobel Prize, because at that time, astrophysics was not considered to be physics, to be science. It was just a hobby. That's what the science people thought, the real scientists thought. Anyways, long story short, what happens is, now that we know, thanks to Hubble, we know that the universe is expanding. Okay, that logically means that it's all expanding. It's all expanding uniformly across the visible universe that we have. That means if you go back in time, if you see something expanding now, let's say it's expanding now like this, it must have come from a single source in the past, isn't it? And then scientists started working on the light that comes from different stars and different heavenly bodies. And they verified that, yes, that indeed is the case. The universe is expanding, but it's expanding because it all came from a single source. And then the scientists said, okay, let's measure the time when all of them, all of the universe that we see around, scattered around, it was unified into one place. And they figured out the best estimation of the time is about 14 billion, 13.8 billion years to be exact, but about that. So that was the time when all of the things that you see around you, all the stars, the sun, the galaxies that you see, the black holes, whatever, anything that you can imagine in the physical world, it all was concentrated into a teeny tiny microscopic spot. And then scientists believe that all of it then expanded at a very high rate, and that's what we call Big Bang. Now, by the name of it, it sounds like it was a bang, it was a sound. But I suspect if that was the case, because for sound, you need air. And in the space, even today, there's not much air. Actually, there's no air in the wider space. So it's called Big Bang just because it sounds good, but there's no bang. There must have been some flashes and lights and all that, but no sound. So that's the easiest watered down version that I think you can tell your 8-year-old as a nighttime story. And that's how everything started. Okay, I hope, well, it has actually increased my confidence. I'm feeling more confident now. I'm feeling more comfortable. Ritu says, how do you maintain your hair? No, my hair is not, no, my hair is real. It's not a wig. It does look like a wig. You're not the first person to say, is your hair wig? My, my hair is not wig. But yeah, I'm lazy. I should get a haircut once every month, but I think I'm just lazy. I'm always I don't get a haircut until I need to. So that's the answer. It's not a wig. It's definitely not a wig, though it looks like. Thank you. Thank you for liking my answer, English Chacha. Thank you so much. And MJ gives a big laugh emoji. Thank you so much. Thank you for your amazing involvement, guys. I really appreciate it. It's amazing. I was actually expecting nobody to show up, but here we are. So fantastic. Okay, any other questions? Anything. It doesn't have to be about science. The channel's name is Free Science 365, and most of the things that we discuss uh, are scientific in nature, or there's a scientific explanation of things, but it doesn't have to be. It's just a session to get uh, closer to my fans and the subscribers of the channel. How do you keep your curiosity so high? Yes, um, it is because maybe the way you think. So some people, when they grow up, they leave the childish way of thinking behind. But somehow with me, um, I think there was a little bit of nerd that always stayed inside of me. It still stays inside me, and I'm just too curious. I don't know why I have such a high curiosity, but that is true. I have a high curiosity. Um, but I don't know why. I'm just too interested. I want to know things, and that's my nature, I suppose. But also, it has to do with you seem to have broad knowledge about many subjects. Thank you. Yes, I try to be a jack of all trades, but I'm a master of none. So, but what I try to do is I try to connect different things. So. my favorite three subjects are science, of course, but also business and history. And most of the books that I read, most of the TED Talks or videos that I watch online, most of the things that I read, they are all either related to history or business or science. And to me, the magic is then connecting all of these things together to see how all of the world can be understood uh, in a new way. And that's my go-to idea, basically, behind the curiosity that I have. Uh, for example, I was just looking at technology. So let's look at technology. Yeah, technology uh, in the recent history, electronics has been really crucial in spearheading the technological revolution that we have. So we had radios and then televisions, and then now we have internet. So how does that affect the people? Because that will become history at one point of time. And how does it affect business? And how does business affect it? So that's, those are the questions that I grapple with on a day-to-day basis. Okay, Yuki says, I would like to know why Pluto is not a planet. Okay, well, yes. Now, many people think it has been downgraded from a planet to not a planet. What has happened is scientists came together and they then said, okay, let's define what a planet is. So there were some conditions that a planet had to qualify, just like you have to qualify, you have to fulfill some requirements before you become a member of a club, for example. Before you join, for example, Costco, you have to pay for the card, and you have to agree that you won't bring more than so many people inside at one single point of time, things like that. So similarly, what do you need to have the status of a planet? First is you must revolve around the sun. That Pluto did. But then the size of it and the way it was revolving around, it was more of not a planet, because we have certain heavenly bodies that revolve around the sun on a regular basis. But because of their size and because of the way they go around the sun, not all of them qualify as planets. So that's the short of it, without going much into the technicalities. That's the answer to it. Pluto is not a member of the planets around the sun club because it doesn't fulfill those conditions. But that's a very good question. Maybe I will address it in more detail in one of my upcoming videos. Okay, I think that's the last question we had. Anybody else, guys? Any questions about me, my hobbies, science, the world, politics? Well, not politics. Okay, a little bit of it. But anything that you fancy can be asked. Hobby. Okay, well, I like reading books. That you must have guessed by now, because in my videos also I give a lot of preference to books. So I like reading books. Uh, Tell us about your hobby. Who Yuki says, tell us about your hobby. Well, yeah. So I like reading books. Please suggest 5 best business books. Okay. Well, thank you, English Chacha. Yes, the first business book that I ever read was written by Bill Gates, and so that always remains as one of my high recommendations. It's called Business at the Speed of Light, or something like that. And why I remember that book is because Bill Gates talks about uh, science and then how it will enable, because at that time when the book came out, internet was just a dream. Internet did not exist in the form that it exists today. It even didn't exist in many countries. It was only in a few developed countries. So that's a book I would always recommend you. Number one. And the second book, the business book, I think Direct from Dell. That's another good one, because Michael Dell talks a lot about, not only about the good things that they did, but also the failures that they had. The third book I would say is Made in Japan, by one of the co-founders of Sony Corporation, and that was the first book that made me fascinated about not only technology but also about Japan. So that's a must read. And then I think the best among all of them is Made in America by Sam Walton. This book, yeah, if you haven't read it, please go buy, borrow, steal, and read it. I think this is the precursor of all these business books that came out after. It's a fascinating read, and the fifth one I would suggest is Losing My Virginity by the Virgin Group guy. I'm sorry, I don't remember his name. Branson, Richard Branson, I think. Yeah, that's the name. Richard Branson. He wrote this book, and this is the most honest book that I have ever read. I mean, I wouldn't write what he wrote in the book. So these are the five business books that I would recommend you. All of them from old world, 20th century business people, but I really enjoyed them. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, so those are the five business books. Now, let's fill the time. Why? Which one of these fives? Thank you, English. And the best book that I like among all of them is Losing My Virginity by Richard Branson. It's an amazing read. He can't read words like we can. There's a condition in which you read P as D, or I forgot the name, but many people have this condition. Many celebrities have this condition where they cannot read properly, and so he performed really poorly in school. But then he went on to publish a student's magazine, and the way Virgin Music was born, the way Virgin Airlines was born, all of that happened so spontaneously that by the end of it, you will have the belief that I can also start. It was all about bootstrapping, and that's what I liked about in that book. Which country do you suggest to go for a holiday trip? Uh, well, that's uh, that's a tough one, but I would recommend, if you can, please come to Japan. Please spend some time here. It's a very peaceful country. Please visit Nara if you do come to Japan. And apart from that, I think India is another great country if you know how to negotiate your way through. It's the most diverse country with most diverse foods and customs and cultures that you can ever imagine. So those are my two favorites. And what else? I haven't been around a lot, but I would say any of the European countries is a great choice as well. Especially England is good. Um, all of the UK, you can go anywhere in Scotland, England, uh, but don't go to Scotland in winter. Try to go there in summer. Yeah, Germany is good, but Spain is fantastic. Italy is great. So you can go to. I don't have much to talk about that, but yes, the safest country that I have been to is Japan. And if you are wise about it, actually, I have traveled a lot in Japan. So if you are smart about it, you can actually travel without spending, a lot of money. Uh, Good Japanese food to suggest from Blue. Yeah, the my favorite is soba. Soba is buckwheat, and it has a good history to it. Actually, when the when Tokyo, what we have Tokyo today, was called. It was a small village called Edo, and a guy called Tokugawa, Ieyasu Tokugawa. He was the shogun. He was the top of the samurais, and he decided that he should rule Japan and not the emperor who was living in Kyoto. So Tokugawa came up to today's Kyoto. It was called Edo at that time, and he started ruling Japan. It's like the president in India. The president is the head of the country, but actually the prime minister has power. Similarly, in that 1604, that time Japan, the emperor was like a president who has no real powers. He's emperor only in stamp, but he has no real power. But the real powers lied with Ieyasu Tokugawa, and so he then said to his chef, the head chef, I want a signature dish from Tokyo. We don't need to import food from Kyoto. So that's how soba was born. It's called buckwheat in English, and it has no gluten, so it's gluten-free food. It's very delicious, very tasty, and I just love it. Winter, summer, I love soba, especially with kakiage soba, which is like a vegetarian kind of vegetarian soba. So that's what I would totally recommend you. And apart from that, the usual course, sushi, you must try. Sashimi, if you're into that kind of food, is great. There's a lot of variety. This idea that people have about Japan, that they only have sushi, is not correct. There's a hundred or maybe more than 100 varieties of ramen, but I'm not a big fan of ramen because I can't eat salty food. I don't like salty food, and ramen is always salty. So, but uh, if you have that kind of palate, please do try. People are crazy about ramen in Japan. Oh, we have more questions coming in. Thank you for the interesting history of soba. Thank you. And Kumar says, "What are the top most demanded skills by 2030?" And MJ says, "Where do you find a good soba restaurant?" The good, well, first let me answer the good soba restaurant. Soba is very affordable, and in Japan, you have this thing, these small uh, food huts in the middle of a platform. I've seen it in, for example, Nippori Station within Tokyo, or there's a place called Auto. I like that place. It's a little bit on the outskirts of Tokyo, but I used to go there whenever I had the chance. And there's a small little shop run by a very cute grandma, and she does everything. She always has have assistants with her, but she makes all the soba and everything happens in front of you. It's very affordable. I think within 700 yen, which is about $6 or less than that, $5 to $6. Within that much amount of money, you can get a really good serving of soba, kakiage soba. I'm talking about. So those are my favorite two places: Auto Station and Nippori Station food huts. Okay. Yes, Kumar Sandeep says, what are the top most demanded skills by 2030? Well, I have no idea, but if I had, then maybe I would have left YouTube and started working on those skills. But jokes apart, I think there will be a lot of demand for AI related stuff. But I know about it as good as the next person. But I think people who can work on blockchain will be in high demand. Now, why do I say that? It's not because of Bitcoin. Bitcoin works on the blockchain technology, but there are other applications of blockchain, for example, smart contracts. Uh, I think there will be a move uh, which will be initiated by the governments when they start having floating their own digital currencies, uh, something like a Bitcoin or an Ethereum coin. Governments have started. I think China started work on it. There are other governments who have started working on it. So these things need people who understand blockchain technology. And blockchain is not just Bitcoin. So blockchain, I think, just like internet was the wow technology of the last 2 decades, I think blockchain is going to be the wow technology, the go-to technology for the next 2 decades. The applications are amazingly wide. So as long as you can understand the basics of technology and how to create smart contracts using blockchains, I think that will be in high demand. Second, I think uh, therapy will be in high demand. Biotechnology will be a sector because we have seen what happened with COVID-19. So I think the governments across the world will try to contain these kind of pandemics before happening, before them, becoming pandemics. And so we will need a lot of biotechnology experts in that specific field of epidemiology. So things like that. Uh, yeah, so that's my 2 cents. Okay, we have please explain to why the collapse of SVB happened. SVB, Silicon Valley Bank, I think that's what you're referring to. Of course, that's what you're referring to. Financial topics always interest me. Time to invest in Bitcoin. I don't know about Bitcoin because Bitcoin has many meanings. Bitcoin is just one of the currencies, and Bitcoin is different from other digital cryptocurrencies in the sense that it's like gold. It has a finite amount that can be mined. So yes, Bitcoin is a good thing to invest in, but not for the purposes that you are thinking. It's not something to be speculative about. So it's not something that if you invest now, then maybe 2 years down the line or 6 months down the line, you can sell it and make a profit, which is called speculative investing. I would not suggest you to go for that. Anyways, coming back to SVB, Silicon Valley Bank. What happened, what I know about it, because I don't know much about what happened, but what I know about Silicon Valley Bank collapsing is there was, so how Silicon Valley Bank works is it was in, or it is, or it was in the business of funding startups, and hence the name Silicon Valley Bank, because Silicon Valley is full of startups. But what they would do is to make sure that they have enough return on investment, they invested a lot in government bonds. So, and it's a safe bet because government bonds don't give you much. Government bonds are backed by governments. So they bought a lot of US Treasury bonds, which usually give you something, let's say, for example, 1%. Okay, good enough. And so you invest the money in there. And then what happened is the US government increased the yield on the bonds. I think it's now 3%. And suddenly the investors wanted the return. And to maintain the liquidity, they had to then sell those bonds at a loss. And so they went bankrupt within 36 hours. But it's more technical. It's not like they made wrong bets or they invested wrongly. It's not like the 2008 subprime crisis where everybody knew that they're just creating a bubble. It wasn't like that. It's more nuanced than that. SVB didn't invest rashly or wrongly or in bad companies. It's just because of it's a thing created by the U.S. government. That's what a lot of banking experts are saying, because they shouldn't have increased the yield of their bonds without consulting, without taking into consideration the effect on banks who had invested in it. Is to put money in stock market? Well, yes, I have invested money in stock market before, but I would not suggest you to invest your money in stock market. And the reason is very irrational. So what happens is, uh, I, I was reading this book by Daniel Kahneman. It's called Thinking Fast and Slow. And one of the chapters, he talks about he and his friends going to a bank, a big American bank, who was into investing the money into stock market and giving returns to their clients. Not bank, but investment agency. It was a big investment company. And Daniel Kahneman talks about his friend then suggesting to the head of the company, the CEO or the president of the company, that it's better to look at the investment portfolio that his managers are maintaining and compare that the one that monkeys took out randomly and see the returns. And so what they found is the returns were higher on the scripts on the stocks that were randomly chosen by monkeys. And so basically nobody knows what's happening in the stock market. Stock markets are big casino as far as I can analyze. They usually they are more bad than good for society, but that's just me. Yeah, I think stock markets need to be regulated much more strongly by the governments, because the way the money can flow and the way they have been given a free hand in inventing their own instruments, such as derivatives and um, things that are really really complex. Someone who has a PhD in mathematics and statistics, only those people can understand them, and not fully. Um, so and the last nail in the coffin of me not trusting stock markets was this documentary styled movie called The Big Something. It had Steve Carell and a lot of celebrities in the big. What was that? The Big Small or something. Uh, I really enjoyed watching it. Just give me 1 second. The Big what? The Big Short. Sorry, yes, The Big Short. It came in 2015, and if you watch that movie, you will be a convert just like me. So I would not suggest you to invest in stock markets because they are extremely volatile. It's not as safe as you think, and I would rather invest in government-backed securities or government-backed saving schemes because I don't like taking risks. But that's only me. If you think you have a lot of money which you don't mind losing, so I would suggest you, before you invest in stock markets, just think like you're going to a casino. You are in Las Vegas, you're going to a casino, and you know that if you lose this money, it's okay. It's not going to affect your life. So invest only that much money in stock markets. We have the history to prove things, right? Okay. What do you think will happen next in financial market? Sorry. What Ritu says, what do you think will happen next in financial markets? Yeah, we are seeing now, what we are seeing is uh, that we have growth. We have stock markets going up without any increase in the jobs or the real uh, development, real increase in people's living standards. So that has been happening ever since after 2008, after the subprime crisis. So we are seeing that stock markets are still going up. Maybe there will be some corrections, but they are totally going up based on speculation. There's no real growth because there are less jobs, there are less salaries. If you look at the real income of the people, adjusted for inflation, you don't see any growth there. So it's kind of strange that stock market is still going up. So I think it's all rich people's gambling club. That's how I see it. Otherwise, no sane person should invest in these kind of schemes. But that's only me. Sorry if I sound skeptical about it, Big Short. Yes, thank you, UK. That's the name of the movie, The Big Short. What background did you want to put in? I wanted to put in the Free Science 365 logo. I'm sorry, but uh, I figured out that YouTube is not going to allow me to do that. There's no way I can do that. I have to buy extra hardware if I want the background to change. But that's a new learning for me. I didn't know that. Still green, yes. Green is good, yeah. We all want to go green. So here's a little bit of greenery for your eyes so you don't feel but stressed. Uh, yeah, sorry for this. Sorry for this. I wanted to have a different background, but this is the result. And this is what I expected the first time. Rookie mistakes. Sorry for that. Okay, we have 40 minutes gone. Wow, fantastic. I'm really happy. I didn't expect green Japan, clean Japan, of course. Yes, uh, it's a very green country. I think there's more forest cover than uh, any other country in terms of per capita or something like that. It's a really green place. Okay, is the Earth temperature keep going up? Yes, that's what's going to happen as long as we keep on burning the fossil fuels because of carbon dioxide. Yes, so carbon dioxide is the poster boy of greenhouse gases, but then we also have sulfur SF6, sulfur hexafluoride. We have a lot of gases that we are emitting in the air, and these gases are capturing more heat inside of them. Carbon dioxide is one of them, but it's not the only one. So as long as we keep on, burning fossil fuels, natural gas, gasoline, petrol, diesel, the crude oil from Earth's core, take it out and burn it. As long as we're going to do that, I think we are going to have to live with the results of a warmer Earth. What can you stop it from happening? Uh, well, the scientific consensus that I have had access to so far, the things that I've read and watched and studied, is that the time has gone. We, even if we stop everything now, first of all, it's very impractical. I mean, if there was some kind of red button which I had the power to push and suddenly stop all the petroleum production and consumption, I would do it. I wouldn't do it. But there are things that we can do. For example, uh, you can use local produce. What you eat, if you can get it from your local areas. If you, for example, the broccoli that you're eating, is it coming from, let's say, Spain, or is it coming from a farmer near you? The sweet potatoes that you are growing and that you're eating, have they come from, I don't know, some third world country, or is it your neighbor within, let's say, 50 kilometer, some farmer grew it? So that can help a lot. Going local can be great. Of course, using electricity, uh, as using more of public transport. If you're there, some countries they have this policy that after 12 years or 15 years, your car must be scraped off scrapped off, sorry. It has to be sold to scrap, and you have to buy a new car. Well, for employment, I think it's good, but from the point of view of burning, using fossil fuels and global warming, that's a really bad idea. There are many countries where you can run a car as long as you can, uh, as long as you maintain that it doesn't pollute more. And because 50% of a car's fossil fuel consumption happens only during its manufacturing, and the rest 50% happens all through its life. So using more of public transport is a must. Any government, any person who tells you that they will invest more in public transport, that's good for the planet. If someone tells you that they are going to make you buy more cars. Well, not such a good idea. So things like that. So encourage local farming, buying local things, encourage public transport. Sharing things together can save a lot of you know greenhouse gases from emitting. Okay, seaweed. Robert Keogh. Robert Keogh. I'm sorry, I don't get you. Is Robert Kiyosaki really a financial guru? Robert Kiyosaki. I'm sorry, that doesn't ring a bell. Who is Robert Kiyosaki? Can you tell me a little bit more about Robert Kiyosaki? Is that the good dad, bad dad kind of guy? Is that Rich Dad? Yes, sorry. Yeah, yes, the writer of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Yes, I don't know because I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and the idea that I brought home from reading that book is that you should invest in real estate and you should, things that I don't subscribe to, things that I don't believe are going to help you uh, becoming a financially secure person. But that's what he suggested. And then he tells this story about his real father and, let's say, his mentor, who he then shows as his rich dad. So, first of all, if you look at Robert Kiyosaki's history, now I'm nobody to comment on Robert Kiyosaki. He's a famous person, and I don't know if I should. Some people think he's a con artist. Yes. So why do people think he's a con artist? People think he's a con artist because he never had this rich dad and poor dad thing. That thing that he talks in his book, it never actually happened with him. And he was in very bad financial condition when he decided to then write this book. And this book then clicked with a lot of people. A lot of people were actually interested in real estate at that time. And uh, self-help books always sell. Self-help books, according to my limited knowledge and experience, they are really bad for anybody who reads them. They are like a painkiller or alcohol. It's good if you drink it once in a while, if you take the painkiller once in a while. But if you depend on it, if it becomes your go-to thing every day, then it's dangerous. So first of all, I don't like self-help books, especially the kinds which tell you, do this and you'll be great. And Rich Dad Poor Dad is one of them. Secondly, he never had that experience. He never did actually learn from a rich dad and then take his advice and invested wisely and became a rich man. No, that story isn't simply true. So that's why maybe a lot of people say he was a con artist. Okay, seaweed. I share with friend as well. Thank you. I really like the pyramid scheme debunked. Yes, there are a lot of pyramid schemes going on. So I made this video about pyramid schemes and the scientific explanation of why so many people still get attracted to these pyramid schemes. If you haven't, please do watch it. I highly recommend you that watching that video because first of all, it took me a long time in understanding why, especially poor people, people with no resources to begin with, actually become their target much easier than rich people. So please do watch that. Go and watch that video. I think you will come out as better informed. Okay, seaweed is very good. Thank you. Later, I shared with the friends. Kumar says later he entered in multi-level market segment and gained popularity like many others. Oh, I didn't know that. I think Kumar Sandhu is talking about Robert Kiyosaki, and so this is news to me. I didn't know that he went into multi-level market segment. But yes, anything that says multi-level marketing, it's just not good. It's poison to you, your peace of mind, your money, your happiness. These kind of things, they are just, and that's why it took me the longest time that I ever had in making a single video. It took me about 3 months of researching, going into psychology, going into the behavior, behavior psychologist's account, going into clinical psychologists of why, and then going into the science of it, reading real books of members who were part of these multi-level marketing schemes and then came out of it, talking with a lot of friends, because quite frankly speaking, a lot of my friends also got into these pyramid schemes, multi-level marketing schemes, without knowing what they are going into. And recently, I also made a short video on the 1 cent versus $1 million. So that shows you that theoretically, if you have 1 cent coin, one penny, and you decide to get that penny, which actually doubles every day for the next 30 days, you will have about $5.38 million. Uh, so theoretically, that's possible. And that's what they show, these pyramid scheme people show. So I'm really happy that quite a few of you guys uh, are aware about multi-level marketing. Yes. It took me a long time because it was difficult for me to understand it from a scientific point of view, from uh, a, a point of view where I can understand those who get into these, because they're actually the victims. So that's the thing. Should we all start to consume seaweed to save the earth from global warming? Yes. So thank you, Yuki. Yes, seaweed. So what most of us think is that planting trees is going to help us uh, take care of the extra carbon dioxide that's emitted by these greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gas, sorry, by uh, the fossil fuels industry. But you'll be surprised to know that it's the seaweed. By some estimations, I think majority, more than 50, probably 70% of the oxygen is fixed in the oceans by the seaweeds. And so I was very surprised to see that. I went to this island of Okinawa, and I actually saw seaweed farming for the first time. And seaweed is a fantastic, fantastic thing because it's good for your body. Consuming it's great. And while people are farming it, actually they are producing more oxygen, and sorry, they are absorbing more carbon dioxide, and hence probably giving out oxygen than anything else. So seaweed is fantastic. I consume it from time to time. I like the crispy ones. There are a lot of varieties of seaweeds. I don't like the liquidy one. I don't like that. I like the crisp one that's you have around the uh, rice balls in the convenience stores. That's what I like. Okay, so yes, if you can consume, please do consume seaweed. It's really good for you. Thank you for this nice emoji. Thank you so much. And yeah, amazing, amazing. I'm really happy. We are clocking 50 plus minutes. Where can I get seaweed? Well, you can get it from the sea. uh, Jokes apart, you can you can get it from, I don't know, but in many countries you can simply get it from something like, if you have a Costco nearby, I think you can get it from there, or just any of these supermarkets that you go to, but not in every country. Okay, fantastic. Anything else, guys? I'm really happy. I'm really happy. 48 minutes have passed. Wow, fantastic. That is indeed brilliant. Uh, yes, I should have told more people. Never seen one before. Ah, yes. It's crispy. It's like dark green in color, and I saw it the first time only after I came to Japan for the first time. That's when I saw it. I didn't like the taste initially because it's a little bit salty, but now I like it. I don't eat it every day, but yes, that's one of the things that I want to consume on everyday basis. It's brilliant. How long do you sleep usually? I sleep about. So I have invested in a smartwatch which helps me understand my sleep patterns. And So I sleep about 6.5 hours every day. But on the busy days, it can be as low as 5 hours, 4.5 hours. But I'm not happy about that. So the uh, for me, the optimum sleep would be between 6 and 7 hours. So let's say 6.5 hours. But after a very stressful day, I can also sleep. Maximum I can sleep is 8 hours. Even if I try my best, I can't sleep more than 8 hours. But that also, yeah, that's a good question because a lot of people think that if you don't sleep 8 hours every day, that's bad for you. No, that's not how it works. If you sleep, I think as we get older, our sleep time becomes lesser. But yeah, between the ages of, let's say, 30 and 50, if you're sleeping anywhere between 6 to 8 hours, it's great. Yeah. What matters is how much is your REM sleep, how much is your deep sleep. So those kind of things are more important than the total. For example, if you have a total sleep of, let's say, 8 hours, but you only have 20 minutes of deep sleep, usually it should be around 40 minutes. If you only have 20 minutes, even after 8 hours, you will wake up really in a really bad mood. So the quality of sleep matters a lot. Okay, fantastic. Okay, very, very good. Yes, so anything that makes you comfortable. I was watching this video where uh, some really smart guy. I'm really sorry. I'm really bad with names. What's the name of the Tesla guy? The guy who destroyed Twitter, but he actually did great things with Tesla. What's his name? Electric car. Oh wow. Okay, talk about the devil. Yes, Blue. I was just talking about. Yeah, what's the name of the guy who is the founder of Tesla? Anybody can you tell me the name of the guy uh, who is the co-founder of PayPal, and he's now the CEO of Tesla? And Elon Musk. Yes, sorry. Thank you. Yes, Elon Musk. So Elon Musk was talking with someone on a podcast. I don't remember who, but and he said, if I can do 5.5 hours of sleep, I'm good. So it all depends on the person. It all depends. But uh, please don't trust the myth that if you're sleeping less than 8 hours, it's bad. If you're sleeping more than 8 hours, it's good. Nothing like that. Yeah, go deeper into it. What I know, because I'm quite a device otaku, so I have tested about three different watches in the last five watches in the last 3 years actually, and I found Apple Watch to be the most accurate. So if you really want to know the sleep quality, investing in an Apple Watch can be really good. But that said, yeah, yeah, if you don't need to, you don't need to. Apple is not paying me anything, or there's no agreement between me and Apple, so it's just my observation. Elon Musk, yes, thank you. So many replies. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, Elon Musk is the guy. So electric cars have a really bright future because I think that's the way we are going. Many countries have already. I think Germany said by 2030, all the cars will be electric. So in the developed countries, the global north, I think it will be the defining growth engine for the economy. That's what I think now. I can't say for sure, but that's what I think. And so electric car companies will benefit a lot. The problem is the politics, because what happens is, as it turns out, China controls a lot of rare earth elements. The countries that have rare earth elements in those countries, China has a lot of influence, political, financial, diplomatic influence. And so China basically controls the rare earth element supply chain. And so that can be an issue of contention. Now, wherever there is a political challenge, science always comes to the rescue. So let's just hope that some new technology comes in. There's a lot of talk about lithium being replaced by sodium, because lithium and sodium, they both actually come in the same family of elements. They both have one extra electron in their outermost orbital. So that's possible. Sodium is very easy to produce. We can simply produce sodium from salt that we have in your house. You must have salt in your house. So that's one thing, but that might make the car heavier, and then there must be some other issues, technical issues that need to be solved. And how does that enter into the supply chain? So yes, um, electric cars will become. I think China is now uh, growing very fast in this segment. A lot of electric car companies, and they are churning out these things at very low cost. So cost will also be a factor, and government subsidies will come in place. I think without that, it's not going to be possible. But uh, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, yes, sorry, yes, so about electric cars, yes, that's the way to go. But as long as the electricity comes, it is a good marketing thing. You can market it very well. We'll save the planet by buying the electric cars. But remember, as I said, 50% of the carbon emissions of a car happens during its production. Now remember, electric cars need a lot of rare earth elements, which actually translate into consumption of more carbon intensive work. So probably you will not be better off overall if you consider the overall uh, life of an electric car versus a gasoline or petrol car or diesel car. The earth is not going to benefit, but these companies are going to benefit. Why? Because the electricity, most of it still comes from burning the fossil fuels. So until you fix that, so if you, for example, if someone comes with an amazing car, electric car that charges with a solar panel on its body, oh, that will fix the problem. But then it will create new problems. That's the thing with science and technology. So please be ready for new problems. Okay, we have. Do you own a Tesla car? No, I don't own a Tesla car, and I don't intend to own any car in my life. As long as possible, I'll try to avoid owning any cars. I own probably the world's smallest car. It's called Nano, and it has an engine of 625 cc, probably the smallest engine that you can get. But I don't intend to buy. I would rather use public transport, things like taxis, things like trains and metros, than buy any car of any sorts. So that's what I want. But you never know about the future. If I have to, let's imagine I have to live in a very remote part of the world where I can only connect with the rest of the world with, and there's no electricity, or there's no guarantee of electricity. So in that case, but I think the probability that is 0.000000001%. I intend not to buy any car in my life. Is PayPal still popular? I wonder. I don't think they are much popular now, especially with this QR code based thing. About 4 years ago or 5 years ago, I went to China and I saw it. I was in Shanghai, and then I also went to Beijing, and I saw everybody is using these QR codes. And now, even in India, we have a lot of QR code based payment systems. So I don't think PayPal is of any use. But yes, still for many international transactions, they are still used. How come Tesla stock is much higher than Toyota? Yeah, again, as I said, that's the problem with stock markets. When you have speculation, when you have greed with you, things like this happen. Tesla's stock sells, I think, at 35 times its uh, its real value, right? Which shouldn't happen, but that's what's happening because a lot of people speculate that the stock value will go up. And speculation, as I said, I still maintain, speculation is the biggest enemy of human happiness. The prices of commodities go up and down because of speculations. The prices of land go up and down because of speculations. All the stock market bubbles that had bursted in the last two, three, 400 years are all because of speculation. So speculation is a really dirty word when it comes to human happiness, and at least that's what I believe. So it's all because of speculation. Toyota, yeah, boring. They are now creating a lot of amazing cars, but yeah, boring, and they will go out because they don't have an electrical car, a total 100% electrical car in their folio. So they are boring, and Tesla is new. There's no rational explanation of how Tesla can be a more valuable company than Toyota. But that's the world that we are living in. What could be the effect of the collapse of Evergrande in China? Evergrande, yes, the real estate company. If you look at it, most of the financial collapses can be attributed to real estate or things related to land and the speculations in those prices of those uh, uses of the land. Evergrande is a classic case of that. But I think China is not gonna uh, let the effect of Evergrande's bankruptcy percolate down in the market because everybody has seen 2008 subprime crisis, and everybody has seen how countries such as USA, Japan, European countries, they kept on printing money, and there's no much inflation before the COVID-19. There's no much inflation anyways. So this whole idea that printing a lot of money will necessarily create inflation proved to be wrong. That's not the case. Japan has been publishing um, unthinkable amounts of money printing money every month since the 1994 uh, stock market collapse. But there's no inflation to be seen before the COVID-19. So I think China will rescue because China is a strange case. It's not a capitalistic country. It's state capitalism there. So the state's capitalism will save anything that can lead to systemic failure of its economy. So I think they will not let Evergrande uh, destroy the real estate market any further. They will either give some indirect guarantees or something like that. But I can be wrong in that. I want to own a Tesla car. Okay, all the power to you, MJ, if you want to own a Tesla car. But please consider that it's only good for, in terms of thinking that you're helping the planet, it's great. But uh, if you scientifically measure the carbon emission effect of buying a new car, I would rather that you buy a used Tesla car. Buying a used Tesla car or buying a used Nissan Leaf, which is another excellent alternative car, electrical car, totally electrical car. Buying a used car is much better than buying a new car. Now, it doesn't add a lot to your vanity. I give it to you, but it's actually great for the environment. But of course, if you have the money and the intention of buying the Tesla car, all the power to you, MJ. Thank you. Oh, fantastic. Is he going to be the head of China forever? Yes, she's. He made some changes in the constitution about 3 or 4 years ago, I think. There was a big hubbub in the international press at that time. So basically, she has made the changes in the constitution of the country of China, which guarantee him to stay as the head as long as he wants. So that's the short of it. Thank you so much. We have completed 1 hour and 4 minutes. That's amazing. Thank you. I really enjoyed it. and I look forward to these kind of interactions in the future as well. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Yes, please. Blue wants to ask one more question. Yes. Thank you so much. I think I'll be doing. I really enjoyed it. My initial nervousness has gone away, so I think I can handle it. I actually really enjoyed talking to you guys. So I think I'm going to do it on a monthly or weekly basis in the future. And so please ask. When is the next session? Thank you so much for asking this question. Yes. So today is March 22nd. So I think I don't know if you have. I think I intended to do it once every week. I think, but not initially. I think now I'll do after 2 weeks. So next to next Wednesday, you can. I'll just arrange it today itself. So yeah, you can expect at the same time 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks, we'll have this 1 hour session. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much for your amazing question. Thank you, Blue, Ritu, Yuki, English Chacha, MJ, Kumar, Sandeep, Ritu Williams. Thank you so much. Yes, Yuki Haneda. Um, I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. We didn't have many participants, but I'm really happy. I'm really happy with this session. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kumar. Okay. So adios to everybody, and hopefully I'll see you. Please spread the word. Please tell your friends. Any questions, as you saw, it's a freewheeling conversation. It's nothing to be has to be just scientific in nature. It can be anything. It's just a lot of fun for me to talk to you. Adios. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Please tell your friends. I'll be happy to have as many people as possible to participate next time. Thank you. Bye bye.